This is the Confessions of an Ex-Nuwaubian, Part 2. Like I said in Part 1, we sold bootleg movies. Now, taking heed, they put me on in the future, but prior to that, I was selling the W's bootleg movies at his spot. Now, the W was some crazy, you know what I'm saying? Like, he had two spots. The other spot used to be Show's spot. Show was a member, and he had owed the W so much money by, borrowing money to gangbang whores and just all types of shit. Like they used to have orgies and shit. Him and the W, and they were roommates. So he owed the W so much money from paying till it didn't make no sense. So Show's spot became the W spot, and Show literally became a slave to the W, right? And it was another guy named Margo, like I told you in the first one. He's the one that put me onto the Oils and Incense. He sold bootleg movies as well. Now, it was a total of 10 members that was in our bookstore. The only ones that were active was us 5. It was me, Margo, the W, Show, and this guy named Nitro. Now, Nitro was an author, and he had a college degree. So he didn't sell any of the shit that we sold. He sold his book, and we all had different quotas. So my quota was $100, but it got bumped to $150 a week. Margot's quota was $400. Show's quota was about $450, something like that. Nitro's quota was which I'm gonna call him Nitro, the dude with that wrote the book. His quota was $300, if I'm not mistaken, and the W's quota, he did what he wanted to do. Now, in every bookstore hustled. Now, I'm not saying that every member hustled bootleg movies and shit like that, but I know for a fact a lot of them did. A lot of us did. Or a lot of us damn sold oils and incense. Some of the members had jobs, but either way, in order to get that quota per week to send down to Tamaray, to the land, and give to Dr.York, we had to hustle, because those books, those Space Cadet books that Dr.York wrote, it brung in money, but it didn't bring in as much as it should have in order for us to actually just work at the bookstore, and that's that. So this is where the bootleg movies came in. The bootleg movies was like an easy hustle, you know what I'm saying? You go into the hood, or you had a spot at a fucking Chinese food restaurant, or a bodega, or some shit like that. Come in and boom, 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 buy movie after movie after movie. Shit used to move like really, really fast, you know what I'm saying? I recall one Friday, this wasn't even a holiday or no shit like that, we made like $1,000. Bootleg movies was like the shit. Back in the days, we didn't have no DVDs and no shit like that, and we didn't have the internet, so the way that you were able to get your movies was either you were gonna go to the movie, or you was gonna get the shit off the block. That plain and simple. And the average hood going to the movie theater, he want to go and purchase a VHS tape so he can go home, smoke blunt, drink, and do whatever have you. Pause the shit, just as long as the shit is a good copy. It's buying 8 or 9 movies. You see what I'm saying? So we would sell these movies, right? And every week it would be someone that would go up to New York, or it might be one or two people. You see what I'm saying? It just depends on how heavy the load is, because that one or two people would have to get everybody's order. So that one or two person would go up to New York and get the movies off of 125th from these Africans, and after that they would come back down. We would have to take the boxes that the movies were in and send them or on Amtrak on down south. And then, we would hop on we would hop on the bus. So we had a system going on. Most of the time, this guy named Margo, which I explained to you who he was, he actually went to go get the movies. Now, the W had 3 brothers. 2 of the brothers were members. We're going to call him H. and the other one's Solomon. The third one was a regular street fight, straight up. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna call him People, right? So all three of them was down there, down south, and they used to bounce back and forth, Jersey and different places like that, Atlanta, and you know, they really weren't, they were into the doctrine, but they weren't. They, you know, they just did their own fucking thing. You see what I'm saying? So at times they would order too, right? This specific time, it was Margot's turn to go to New York. The W ordered, H ordered, Peoples ordered, Solomon ordered, and Show ordered. And it was a movie, I forgot what it was. I think it was Scream 3. It was like some big time horror flick that was coming out, and everybody was asking for that shit. Like, as soon as we got that fucking VHS, the tape, the movie, yo, if you had 100, you would sell that shit in one day. It was just a big ass fucking movie that everybody was asking for. So the W and everybody, you know what I'm saying, that order was like, yo man, I want a box, like 2 boxes of that shit. Now, a box is 90 VHS tapes per box. You could fit 90 VHS tapes in there. So it's like, I want 200-300 tapes, right? So Margot went up there. He fulfilled everybody's order, and he puts them on the train to be sent down. Now Margot kept his shit with him, right? Excuse me. He kept. Let me put it to you like this. They were under the impression that he took the Screen 3s, a couple boxes, and he kept it with him. And it was other movies that he sent down that was his, that he sent down with the rest of everybody. Now, taking heed, Amtrak, the people that work there, they see the boxes, they know what's in them. You see what I'm saying? And they used to go inside the boxes and take shit, and we couldn't do shit, nothing. Because what are we gonna say? We're gonna call Amtrak and say, hey, listen, y'all, your employees are stealing VHS, my bootleg VHS tapes of that. So the movies get there before Margot gets there. They open up the box. It's me, Show, the W, Solomon, H, Peoples, and I don't think Nitro was there, because like I said, he didn't sell none of that shit. So I don't think he was there. They're opening up the boxes. Now, taking heed, we're in the bookstore. It's a mural spray painted on the wall of Z.York. His books are everywhere. And they got boxes of bootleg movies on the ground. They're going through it, opening them up. And they're like, yo, what the only got 50? And going crazy, berserk. And I'm like, oh man, here we go with this bullshit. I didn't sign up for this shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, all I wanted to do when I became a Nuwaubian is save souls. I wanted to be 144,000 like this Dr. York said in the books. I wanted to be the Anunnakis. When it came time for the rapture, I wanted to get on a sham and go to Nibiru and fly out of here. But now I'm dealing with this shit, and this shit's something different from the doctrine. This is some crazy shit that's going on. They argue, took them shits, and I'm assuming like, yo man, it's probably that took the shit that usually take the shit in Amtrak. Man, they just kept on arguing, first, you know, cussing them out, and then all of a sudden came up with a plan. Yo man, we gonna kill him. And he looked at Show and said, you better not say shit. And they looked at me and they said, Langston, you know not to open your mouth. And I shut the right? So to make the long story short, Margot gets back. He's back in town. They ain't got no movies for the nigga. And I'm sitting here nervous as shit because I know how to get down. I know how to, I've never seen them, per se, put in that work. But I know how there are some street. They've been to prison. I'm pretty sure they done stabbed a few, shot all that. They some real, right? So one night, the W picks me up out of his spot. He drives to this joint, to this chick's house. Now Margo, he's a hustler, man. You know what I'm saying? And if he ain't got nowhere to stay, he'll fat chick for a couple weeks just to have a place to stay, just to lay his head. So we go over this chick's house, in which he's living at, right? And Margo comes out, and the W's talking to him. Now, in the car, and I'm in the car with the W in the passenger seat. And he's like, yo, man, what the fuck you did with the movies? And Margo was like, trying to explain this shit. And I was believing the shit he was saying. The W didn't want to hear it. Next thing you know, he drives off. He tells me again, yo, we gonna kill his son, and you better not say shit. Now, to make the long story short, a couple days pass by. Normally, I see Margo at the bookstore. Normally, I see Margo on Sunday because we have classes from 1 to 5, and he's one of the teachers. He's one of the that get out there and teach. Didn't see him. A couple days passed by. His parents came to the goddamn bookstore saying, where's my son? That they know that their son is in this bookstore. And they are on some shit like, yo, you gonna tell us what our son is, or there's gonna be a problem. And I'm sitting here, I'm nervous as shit. Nervous as shit. And that's running through my head. There's two things that's running through my head. Well, the third thing is, it always run through my head when there's a problem. I was like, yo, man, I ain't signed up for this shit. The second thing was, man, I'm caught up in some shit, and man, I can't believe this. And the first thing was, damn, this over some over some bootleg movie. Like, y'all just don't understand. It was bootleg movies. I understand that, he could, they a lot of money. I get it. I've been at the spot at the W spot on a Friday before and made $1,000 on a Friday, no holiday or nothing. I get it. It goes through my head over and over and over again. I get the whole money situation, but bootleg movies, you killed this over bootleg movies, my. So to make the long story short, I don't want to give away the future parts, but I wound up leaving the bookstore. Well, rather, the bookstore wound up getting closed, and I wound up moving to Greensboro, and I wound up bumping into Margo. And this down and told me, yo, this kicked me out, and he was telling me I gotta go, and this and that and so forth. And Margo was pretty much on some shit like, yo, I fear for my life, and I got the out of there. That plain and simple. He said, yo, I packed my shit up that night, and I got the up out of there. Period. And that's what happened, man. Over some bootleg movies. And yo, this wasn't the first time that they threatened to kill somebody. I mean, I don't want to give away the future parts, but I got threatened as well. That's in the near future that I'll tell you all about. But that's my story, man. Bootleg movies. Almost got killed over bootleg movies. And you think I'm making this shit up. I am not lying. My name is Langston 2092, and this is the Confessions of an Ex-Nuwaubian. Like, comment, share the video, and subscribe. 1.